Friends, brothers and sisters, welcome to Pathways of Hope, a daily reflection on the gospel and the hope that it brings to us in these times. My name is Ted, and I'll be sharing some insights on the gospel for today. Today is Saturday, September 26, 2020, and the gospel for today is taken from Luke chapter 9, verses 43 to 45. In today's gospel, the disciples hear Jesus predict his passion, his suffering, and his betrayal by those close to him. He reveals this to them even as he has just received adulation for the miracle he performed. Jesus places in perspective the majesty of God by putting the suffering of the cross in the picture. There can be no victory nor glory without the cross. Jesus' prophecy about his own betrayal and crucifixion did not make sense to the disciples because it was inconsistent with how they understood the Messiah. The image they had was one of a conquering king who would lead them to war and win great victories. It made no sense for one who had just performed a miracle to then tell them that he would be betrayed, defeated, and delivered into the hands of men. For the disciples, it was a sobering and probably frightening thought that as they were coming to grips with the awesome power and majesty of God, as expressed through Jesus' miracles, they were now confronted with a warning that the Son of Man in their midst would be betrayed. Because of this, they were afraid to ask him about what he had just said. The bad news they had just heard prevented them from knowing more. It was as if not asking would prevent what Jesus had prophesied from coming to pass. Yet the bad news that they had heard was in fact the main point of the good news, that the passion and death of Jesus on the cross, his betrayal by his own people, would lead to ultimate victory over sin and death, all according to God's plan. How many times do we tune out when we hear of news that we don't like or are afraid of? How many times do we deny news that we think of as bad news, and in doing so, shut off the good news? God's word is always good news, even if that word may mean the cross for us. Jesus tells the one who desires to follow him, "Take up your cross daily and follow me." It is up to us to accept or reject God's word every day, and to allow that word to guide us, shape us, empower us, and transform us every day. I pray today for the grace to be able to receive the good news of God, even if that good news may mean taking up my cross and following God. I pray that you may be blessed with that very same grace. Friends, if you have been made more hopeful by this short commentary, please spread that hope by sharing this with your friends. Again, this has been Pathways of Hope. Thank you for listening. God bless us all.